what are some of the best traits in State of Decay 2? Hey, what's up guys, Irish Turtle here, and in today's video I want to cover with you guys just some of the traits that I think are really good to put on your survivors in State of Decay 2. Now I just want to point out for this video, I did go through an absolute ton of different traits, as the number of these that your characters can have is just insane. So there's no way by any standard that I could cover all of the traits. So I just wanted to cover the ones that personally I quite like that I've seen so far, because again I guarantee I've not seen all of the traits. I'm literally just talking about the ones that I've seen and that I've pretty much used on characters that I've played with, and kind of ones that I think you guys might like to use yourselves in your own playthroughs. So we're going to start off here with Immortal, which is basically a character who's kind of got a little bit of an ego trip going on. They kind of think, hey, you know, nothing can kill me, the world's tried, the world has failed, bring it baby. So basically, you know, you've got a character here who thinks, hey, I've survived the zombie apocalypse, I'm the big I am, I basically just can't be killed. And the benefit of this is, of course, the plus 45 maximum health, and also the minus 50% injury severity. Basically what that means is when your character gets injured, this person isn't affected by that as much. When zombies hit them, they don't get as hurt as much. So again, it's a really cool skill to have on your characters, because it means they've got more health, they last longer in fights, and also you can stack this with sort of like specific specialization skills to increase your health even further on a character to just like ridiculous numbers. So they're basically unkillable, and they essentially do just become immortal. And of course I also want to talk about Heavy Hitter. This was another great skill that I really liked. Again, it's plus 25 fighting experience rate, so just generally speaking, your character has a much faster ability at raising their fighting skills. So as you can see here on this character, they've already got pretty much, that's 6 stars out of 7, so they're nearly there at the top level of like this character's fighting. And I literally played with her for maybe about 20 minutes, just going and killing out zombies, and it leveled up so quickly. And of course, once I've leveled that up, I also get the ability to actually go into blunt weapons, I believe, is the specialization with Heavy Hitter, or at least one of them. So again, it's a really awesome skill that you can balance with this if you weren't trying to, say, stack into health with the alternate skill on the fighting train. And then the next one we have... Oh, crap, I've just broken it there. The next skill we then have, once I've finished breaking the viewer, is Daredevil. Now, this is a skill that I really like. Again, because it's similar to Immortal, it gives you plus 30 max health, minus 33% injury severity. So, you know, it's not quite as good as Immortal, but again, it gives you this character bonus. It improved this character, so, you know, they've got extra health, they take less damage. They did get Kleptomaniac, which isn't fantastically amazing, because, you know, it's minus 7 morale to the whole group, because this person's stealing their stuff. So, you know, it's kind of an offset there with that trait that happened to be rolled with that. But, you know, it gives you an idea of some of the negative traits you can get. We then have one of the ones that I really do think is absolutely great, especially for players who struggle either to take out plague zombies or take out plague hearts. If you find a lot of your characters get the blood plague, a skill to look for is Never Been Sick. This gives you 100% infection resistance. Now, this doesn't mean that your characters cannot get sick, because they can. They can still get blood plague, they can still get turned into a zombie, they can still die from that, but it takes them much longer for this to happen. I think I was trying to get killed by a bunch of blood zombies with this character at a later point, and it literally took me, I think, it was so long. I mean, I had to stand there and let these zombies hit me for so long before I contracted blood plague. I mean, this character nearly died before they got blood plague. That's how strong this sort of ability is as a skill. Now, there are a few other ones that do actually give you 100% infection resistance as well. I'm pretty sure it's like strong immune system or something like that. I'm pretty sure I've got it somewhere on there. But generally speaking, again, it makes these characters much more withstandable against plague zombies. So if you find yourself struggling in that area, it's definitely a trait to look out for to try and, you know, improve your characters in that area. At least so you can deal with the plague hearts and plague zombies a little bit easier. And then, of course, we get gets rashes. Again, it's a very negative skill. So the person gets backpack rashes from where the straps are. So that's minus 10 carrying capacity. So, you know, she's got that offset if she's not great at carrying things. But again, you know, you could just roll Never Been Sick without gets rashes, as all of these are completely random in the order you get them. I then got another character here whose skill I really liked, which was Food Sharer. Now this is one of the good ones that's really useful. There are better versions of this, but again, I'm not going to eat this, why don't you have it instead? So this character eats minus 25% food per day. Now obviously this isn't the best because it's only minus 25%, so basically if you've got a group of 3, they're basically eating 2 3/4 worth of food a day. So you know, it's not the best in terms of like what it offers you, but you know, if you stack this with say 4 characters, all who had a similar sort of trait, you could have basically a free food slot, and all of them be eating 3 food a day as opposed to 4. So you know, it's quite cool. And again, here we've got holding out hope, which you know, it sort of gives +4 morale. You know, they feel more positive about the sort of the situation, so it's a little bit better for your community in that regard. I then have Will Eat Anything, which as I said is kind of like the next step up from Food Sharer, and this guy eats 50% less food per day. So this guy is basically eating a half a ration less. So again, if you were to have those 4 survivors, if all of them had this, they would only be eating 2 food per day between them as a group. So you know, it's really good if you struggle again to find food, keep food as a good balance, could be an interesting skill to look for. Or you know, if you just want to try and make food less of a priority for you, again, it's a trait that maybe is worth considering. Woodcutter and model hobbyist, you know, they're not the best sort for skills. Model hobbyist does give a bit of the craftsmanship bonus, and the woodcutter skill, generally speaking, this character, when he gets full fighting, he'll have a higher chance of developing a skill where he can use bladed weapons, because of the sort of the training with the axes coming from that trait. The next skill we have is one that I actually think is absolutely amazing. I hadn't found this until right at the end of making this video, but I wanted to include it, and that was Can Sleep Anywhere. Now this is an amazing skill. I don't know if any of the ones provide this. Basically what it is this character can catch sleep anywhere, so they don't take up a bed. So if you've got a base with, say, let's say the container fort with your 8 beds inside of it, if you had this character, you could effectively have 9 people in that base while maintaining only 8 beds, because of having this skill. So again, it's one of these really cool slots where it means you can have more people in your base without having to worry about taking up a slot with you know, a building that's required to make beds. So it's one of those skills I think I'm going to look out for when I'm collecting survivors out in the world. When I'm playing the game, I think if I see someone with this kind of skill, I'll take them, because essentially, while yes, they're going to cost me 1 extra food, they're not going to cost me 1 extra bed. So it's kind of that offset of I don't have to add 2 things, I only have to add 1 thing to my community to make this person fit in. So it's a really awesome skill and definitely one to look out for pretty much in any playthrough, because it's almost like a free extra character pretty much. Just because you don't have to worry about that extra bed, especially if you have maxed out on the number of beds you have in your base. And then the next one we have is Tough. Now this is kind of like the downstep from Immortal and from, you know, the other one I had earlier. This only gives you +10 max health and -33 injury severity. But again, I wanted to show you guys that some of these skills do have quite heavy downsteps from higher versions that you can get. So, you know, Tough is like the lower end of that invincible trait, and so this guy, you know, he's like the Tough trait essentially is what I'm trying to say is more likely to appear on your characters because it's got lower stats to it. And I've noticed that in the randomization, the stats that have the lowest benefit in like a set of 3 are more likely to appear. So when I was rolling through characters, repeatedly hitting refresh, Tough appeared more often than anything else, solely because I think it gives you the least stat benefits. And the other ones, like Immortal, were less likely to appear because they gave you higher benefits to your character. And then we have another food one. Again, this is Eats Like a Bird. So again, it's similar to the, you know, Eats Anything trait. It gives you -50% food consumed per day. Now, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. In the game, that I think I've been told so many different things. Like, there's over 500 traits. There's over 1,000 traits. Nobody seems to really be able to agree on how many traits there are. But I do want to point out that some of these traits do cover the exact same things, just with a different set of flavor text to them. So for example, this one here, it just eats like a bird. I don't know how other people eat so much. And basically the idea is there, you know, the guy just doesn't eat as much, whereas on the Eats Anything, the guy just said, you know, I'll eat anything, whatever, I'll have whatever, so I'm going to eat less anyway, because of that. And, you know, it's sort of this thing of, yes, there might be over 1,000 traits, or 500 traits, or whatever it is, but some of them do overlap, and, you know, it's just one of those things I felt like talking about, because there are like over, I think you could have over like 1,000 combinations of traits, but in some circumstances they might be exactly the same even though they're under different names. So it's definitely something to look out for and think about. And again, here we go, we have the incredible immune system. Again, this was the exact same example as the Never Sick. It just completely, you know, it gives you the 100% infection resistance. Again, it means your character takes longer to get blood plague. It's more difficult for them to get like infected. So again, if you're struggling with trying to keep your survivors alive, it's definitely a skill to look out for and consider putting onto them. And here I just thought I'd show you again some of the my more positive ones that I really liked. So this was a character that happened to roll Whittler, Good Posture, and Expert Traveller. So basically what that gave me was Good Posture gives you +5 max carrying capacity, meaning this character can carry a heavier weight. And also I have Expert Traveller, which means I get a +10 light carrying capacity as well. So if you've got like a light bag on with less weight, so like lighter items, smaller bag space, this character can actually carry more items. So that's really cool, because not only do I get the +10 from that, I also get the +5 across the entire board from Good Posture. So again, it's one of these great little things where you can see the traits kind of coinciding and working together to give even bigger bonuses based on what they've given you. And then of course we have Whittler, which is when I bought a dentist drill to decorate my walking stick, I knew I had a problem. So basically the idea is this character likes, you know, whittling wood, they like carving things with their knife. And what's cool is, again, this character, when they're going around the base, because they have this trait, you will actually see them whittling away on a bit of wood when they're sat down, carrying out the action of the trait because they enjoy doing it. And again, even from this, they get a morale bonus from an upgraded workshop. So it's another bonus on top. Even though it might not sound that great, it does actually help your community in some regards with some of these traits and what they do. And here, obviously, I had to include one of my favourite traits, which is lichenologist. Now, of course, this is just I studied lichen, so I know a lot about lichen. This is exactly the same as it was for the skills video, which if you haven't seen, I do completely recommend. And in that video, you know, lichenology, basically what that does is it gives this character the ability to do both medical and herbs, sort of when it comes to like growing things, and he also gets +2 meds every day because of this trait, which gives you the skill of lichenology. So it's one of those traits I think it's definitely worth looking out for, because having extra meds is never a bad thing, and considering this also gives him the gardening skill and the medicine skill essentially, it's definitely worth looking at just because of the bonuses that it gives to you as a community. And next we have probably one of my favourite ones, which is just played zombie games. Now this is one that if you get, basically what it means is because you've played zombie games, you're ready for the zombie apocalypse. Characters with this always get like a really good just set of stats across the board. So as you can see here, this character's got a 3 in shooting, a 3 in fighting, 4 in wits, 2 in cardio. Generally speaking, they'll never have anything less than 2 stars in anything, because the idea is, hey, you know, I've trained for this, I'm ready for this. And also because of that, that gives them a 6 morale boost as well to the community, because again, they're more positive, they're more happy, they're like, hey, you know, I know what I'm doing here, I know what's going to happen. And again, another trait that I did speak about in the skills video is tattoo artist. Again, this guy here says it's odd how many people want tattoos nowadays, less anxiety about living to regret it, I guess. And again, it just provides that skill of tattoos in the bottom right, as you can see. And again, it's just that skill that gives this character medicine, it gives them an influence boost, and it's caused by the trait, and it's definitely one, again, to look out for, because it's such a boon to community and everything that it offers with this kind of character. But those are just some of the traits that I absolutely love in State of Decay 2. Again, I just want to point out there are literally hundreds of these things. There's so many traits that you can potentially get on your characters, so by no means is this the full list, and by no means is this the best list. This is just simply the traits that I think are worth looking out for, and they're the ones that I really like putting onto characters when I'm playing this game. So let me know in the comments below what you guys sort of think to the video, and let me know what kind of traits you use, because again, these are just ones that I spent maybe the last 2 days kind of just flicking through and saying, oh, actually I like that one, or oh, I've played a character with that and I really like that. And I want to hear what you guys kind of look for when it comes to traits. Which traits do you pick for your characters, and which do you think are the best? As I said, let me know in the comments below. And also, obviously, if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to hit that like button. It does take a lot of time for me to find these traits, find the information, get the characters there so you can see these pictures. It takes a while to get these videos done, and I do put a lot of effort into them for you guys to hopefully enjoy. Also, I do want to point out there is a link in the description below to my Discord. It's not just for State of Decay, but there is a lot of you guys have joined that, and I have also just put onto that a State of Decay 2 trading thread, which I'm going to talk about in a later video in the next couple of days. But that's something to look out for, and it's definitely something worth joining, especially if you want to talk to other people about the game and maybe try and find some other people to play with. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Again, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.